don't need bigger knife. Yeah.
Hey ho there. This is Kermit the Frog here. We are live here talking about some pocket knives.
Thank you.
Thanks, I hate it.
See, I always got more of like a Ray Romano vibe. Oh, no, not Ray Romano. Is it? No, it is.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is Kevin Smith does a podcast called Hollywood Babylon.
Yep.
And one of the bits that him and his co-host does, who is a voice actor and impersonist, they do a voice-off between one doing Ray Romano and one doing Kermit the Frog. And it's just like, hi-ho, no, Deborah! Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here, Deborah, no! And it just goes back and forth, and you lose track of which voice is which at one point. It's so funny.
I love that.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Dennis?
I missed out on everything you just said, other than the fact that you had two Muppet hands going at the same time. And I'm very curious on how this story unfolded. Yeah.
You'll have to watch to find out.
Like the rest of our goddamn viewers. What's the average view time of our videos? I guarantee it's not past 60 minutes.
That's probably true.
Who's got questions? XHB. Come on.
There's no questions at the
Just
moment.
because Muppets are in my brain right now, which is your favorite Muppet and what knife would they carry?
Ooh. I see what's going on here.
Just add an extra little twist in there.
Kermit and a Frank Beltran stiletto.
Kermit would carry a stiletto, that little son of a bitch.
Well,
He would.
The better to stab you in the kidneys when you're not looking.
Dennis?
I don't know. I mean, you gotta love Animal for who he is, right?
Mhm.
And who is he
What
exactly?
knife he would carry, it would probably be
You know who
like
he is.
Oh, I know.
one of the 24-inch Latin sawback machetes from Cold Steel or something, right? Like, it's Animal.
Yeah.
No. He's got that golf club looking machete thing. The grass cutter.
Nah.
No,
Yeah.
that's a step down from where Animal sits on.
Yeah.
That's what Grover's carrying.
Why does that make sense? Why? Thanks, I hate it.
I'm thinking Oscar the Grouch and
God
some
damn
old.
it.
Okay, well, it sounds like that was going to be your choice as well. So we'll see if we.
I switched from Animal. Yeah, go ahead.
So we'll see if our knives differ then. I was thinking some old, like, ratted out Buck 119 or some old fixed blade with a wood handle that he picked up at a pawn shop or something.
You
I
know
was
those
thinking
crappy
prison
knives
check,
that said
so-
original Bowie across the side of it? Like
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
It's an M10.
I was straight up thinking prison shank.
Yeah.
It's the back of a toothbrush.
A very dirty toothbrush.
A rusty, blunt. What are they? X-Acto knife.
You know.
All right, so you had Animal and Oscar the Grouch. So what's your weapons for both of those, Paul?
I was gonna go just for a big like piss off Bowie for Animal.
Mhm.
It's got the
The Rambo 3
head
knives.
even, so he can swing it around like drumsticks and just
Yeah,
lop bits off.
He's got two of them, each one in reverse grip.
That's not how you play the drums.
That's how Animal plays the drums. So,
You're showing your age again.
All right, carry on, Paul.
No, that was the extent of that.
Oh, what was your pick for Oscar?
Oscar. And what kind of knife you got for Oscar?
Prison shank.
Okay, fair
Oh.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Although, like, Oscar's got a bowling alley in his, like, that guy's got money.
Yeah.
Does he have money or does he just find stuff?
I don't know, man.
Yes.
He's got a
Those Joe Rogan custom ones with the rings on the back. Is it half-breed knives or one of those? Like,
Yeah.
the one that he'll mess a cougar up with. Yeah. The one you like, it looks rustic, so Oscar is like, yeah, I'm cool with it, right? But at the same time, it's like a handmade custom guy's balling type of shit.
Yeah.
The question I was going to ask tonight
Mhm.
was somewhat similar to a question that was already asked, but it's not in your own collection. Of any knife out there, I need to have that. The ultimate grail knife. What is it for you?
I don't know if it classifies as a grail knife because it's going to be such a workhorse for me, but I'm still hardcore pining after trying to find a Bark River Aurora LT.
I'd call that a grail. You've been looking for it for a while.
In
Yeah.
3V, no less.
Yeah.
Not the A2 versions, because the A2 versions can suck it.
Yeah.
3V is available. Why would you say no?
Well, it's not. That's why Nigel's still looking for that.
Yeah, I guess, hey.
Yeah. And I want the LT because it's a little bit thinner and going to be a little bit lighter and nicer for carving. I don't want the regular thick one.
And with 3V, you should still be able to baton with it. No problem.
Yeah.
No question about that.
Yeah.
The Dutch Bushcraft boys put you onto that one, I think, right? Like,
Mhm.
What about you, Joe?
Oh boy. Yeah, it's probably gonna have to be the Grant and Gavin Deadbolt, or not Deadbolt, Deadlock OTF. Just the concept of it is awesome. I want it for the machining as much as I do the fact that it's an OTF and I could have a blade snap in and out super fast, and it looks awesome. I love the material choices. I think the current batch they're on is like 20 CV, titanium, carbon fiber, anodized to hell, and just awesome looking. But more importantly, the reason I want it is just for the fact that when it locks up, and it is completely solid. They have an internal cam mechanism that does it. I've seen somebody posted a video sometime. It may have been the Hawks themselves. It's a grail because I'll never have one because you can't get that shit in Canada, sadly. Maybe I'll commission them to make me one with a beard comb on it or something. It'll be twice as expensive as a Microtech, but like it'll hold up. Yeah, can't have it, but I want it.
What about you, Dennis?
I'm going to throw it out there. It would be the Garrett Bull Shamwari, but we've already talked about that tonight. So the very, very, very close, and it's also something I'm jacked up about, and it's a shout out also to JVO Designs, Jared Van Otterloo, and the Pena Rhino. And yes, they do have an X series made by Riot for the Pena Rhinos, and yeah, that's going to be my next best thing. But to actually get a custom Pena Rhino designed by JVO, God, that's a giggity knife. That would take one of these ones and boot it the hell out of the EDC box so goddamn quick. So yeah, no, the Rhino is giggity for me. And not the flipper Rhino, the thumb stun Rhino flippers, Stu.
That's fair. And I'm sure I'll catch heat for it because it's an ugly knife. But I don't care. I still want a Norseman from Grimsmo.
Yeah.
Smoothest knife I've ever played with, man. Like when it comes to drop shot, it's crazy. Like it's on another level.
Yeah, that's not really in the cards, but if I could have one, that'd be the one.
Nigel, did you get to say?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he was for.
Oh, must have just blanked on that. Sorry.
He still went with the Bark River
Right, the Aurora,
LT.
the LT.
Yeah.
With 3V. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm remembering the conversation we just had now.
Glad you're on the same page. Good to keep up there, Joe.
Yeah.
Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ahsoka Edge. Coming in late, but here now with us.
Hey,
What's going on,
Greetings,
man?
we're all
buddy.
here for the drink, so
Thanks for coming
glad
back.
you joined us.
And he's also asking, what about a JVO himself model?
Rather than just one of his
Ooh.
designs and production.
okay.
For, like,
Okay, so
making
here's the
it.
thing. JVO himself, he's actually starting to produce, and a couple of his new designs, I can't remember names, but there was a draw point with carbon fiber, and there was a Warncliffe with some sort of crazy lightning strike stuff going on that I've seen on JVO's IG, and I keep harassing him about coming into the city to let me play with them because I know Jared, and he's an absolutely awesome individual.
Yeah, he is a cool guy for sure.
I can't promote his stuff enough, and he keeps on making better and better usable knives instead of decorative knives. Because for a long, long time, he was the art knife, the Greg Lightfoot, the Brian Ty, the triple, quadruple grind, blah, blah, blah. But in the last couple of years, Jared has become the knife designer that I am
An EDC
a
knife?
little bit sexified for. A little bit sexified. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Scott's got a kind of a question from left field here.
Yeah.
Bert and Ernie, bachelors saving money on rent, or is there something else going on there?
They have a special connection.
They have a what?
They have a special
connection.
Yeah, it's called docking.
No, not that special. If you notice, there's a space between their beds. That's not just for show.
Heterosexual life mates.
I don't know, man. As a man who grew up in the 80s, and Nigel can back me up on this, like, I have psychological debates about Sesame Street characters.
Yep.
And Ernie and Bert is one of those, like, okay, as a 38-year-old man who lives with roommates and is comfortable living with roommates, although I enjoy living by myself as well, I'll just say, like, I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah.
You and Blaine don't sleep in the same bedroom. Separate beds or not.
We do not sleep in the same bedroom, nor do any of the rest of my roommates.
Nor did my grandparents for the last 20 years of their, well, probably longer than that. Just to
Okay,
throw,
but
a wrench
just
in
for
your
the record, like Sesame Street, and there's Canadian Sesame Street and American Sesame Street, but it seems like it's like this New Yorky, like, what if all you had was the bachelor suite, one bedroom, blah, blah, blah. You had to make
You
it
couldn't
work.
afford anything more.
Yeah.
They do have a homeless guy that they just kind of pick on in Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
Dude's got a bowling alley. He's balling.
Yeah, but they don't know that because they don't.
He's just low key about it.
He's low key about it because they all treat him like shit.
Oscar the Grouch doesn't give a fuck what you think about him. He's going home to hookers and blow. Like, seriously.
The cheapest he can find, and all of them.
So thanks for tuning into the Knife Podcast. Where we hotly
We
debate
went well
Sesame
beyond.
Street.
We're gonna start a second channel where we discuss Muppets on a weekly basis.
I'm strangely
This is
okay
also
with
the
this.
knife channel where I actually run a knife shop, and this is the front we're putting on. So, good for us. Good for us. We'll be sponsored soon, by the way. There's stickers. You can buy stickers on Patreon. We haven't given a shout out to Patreon, Instagram. Notifications for live stuff. I know there's not many of us joining tonight, but if we keep on doing this thing, the more notification buttons, the more you know that we are actually live. You can ask us questions, see what we think about stuff. Whether it's sober or drunk, depending week to week, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, hit that little subscribe and ring that bell so you get all the notifications and whatnot you can through YouTube. So next time we do this again.
I'm like half a bottle in. I'm all right.
You're not all right.
Are any of us all right? I'm all right. I just have water and Coke.
Kane,
Joe gave up on the beer a while ago. It tells me something for sure. He's been drinking water for this this third part episode. It hasn't snuck by us, you son of a bitch.
How much
It
beer
started
has
with
Joseph already
Stella.
had? Oh well, no, that was last week, but yeah.
I was digging a garden. You think I was doing that sober all afternoon?
Yeah, probably not.
We've already discussed what day it is for me today. Do you think I'm sober?
Yeah. On that note, Alberta, we're getting up and running on. How do we feel about that? Are we hesitant about it still? I mean, me and Paul take public transit, so train is one of those things where if you're gonna catch it, you're gonna catch it on the goddamn train. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have heard a number of people in other areas, Ontario and other places in the States, complaining that with this relaxation, everybody's like, oh, it's over. And they're just going about their day. Nobody's wearing masks. Nobody's being safe at all.
That's kind of what the major fear is, right? That people are going to just drop
Stop
the
being
serious
careful.
act.
Yeah. And if they continue that, then we're going to be right back where we
well, that's what happens when you're zooming for an hour and a half between four guys on YouTube Live. So
that's it.
Thankfully, the video afterwards will probably be a lot cleaner. There's going to be some cleanup and some editing and whatever on whoever joined us tonight. But at the same time, I hope you guys joined us after the fact as well, and at least chatted about what we're talking about. Maybe have some future questions from this episode to go into next episode, because I imagine we're going to be doing this for a while until it's like safe for us to get back together again. Yeah,
man, I kind of.
I'll see how the transit is. I might make my way down to your place a time or two here in the future. For some,
I have a large property with a target that is made for throwing knives and drinking beer, and maybe not broadcasting live from unless it's an outdoor activity, because indoors we're still pushing lines. But I hope it gets to happen soon, and I hope this is all over sooner rather than later, for sure. So
it'd be very nice.
We'll see how transit is and how many people are actually following the rules. Ahsoka Edge actually mentioned that Ontario is actually being pretty vigilant right now, still with the masks, which
that is good to hear.
Nice.
Yeah, very good.
And on that note, when it comes to masks, I also have to give out a shout out to Tactical Innovations, as well as Cutting Edge is going to start carrying some new awesome masks. They have buckles in the back, so they're nice and easy to strap off, very much like the industrial painters masks have.
Yeah, they don't hang off your ears, which is nice.
Oh, no, they don't. And a lot of people have started to complain about the fatigue on pressing against your ears and things like that, right? So with these new ones, they have these buckles on the back. I'm looking forward to them. Honestly, I'm probably going to buy 2 or 3 of them. They do take the standard 7-layer filter, which I know doesn't protect us against COVID, because whatever, science, right? But everything else, as far as the droplets, everything as far as a herd immunity goes, it'll help us all for sure.
Yeah.
So that's my plug. Yeah, good for them. They're cool. And actually, I will say, I don't know if I had direct influence on this one, but I did actually talk to the Canadian designers on these ones, and they are Canadian made. So #shop local, all that garbage, right? But hopefully they listened and they came out with a really cool thing that I think all of us can use. So,
indeed,
most definitely.
Related note, they're also saying that we are potentially less than a month away from antibody testing being widely available in Alberta.
Cool.
So people who have been sick now have the opportunity to get tested to see if they still have antibodies, to see if they're safer. So can I go back to work? That sort of thing. It's not going to affect people who are living with others who may be high risk. That could still be a situation for many people. But for most, this is going to be really useful information.
I just want to know if I had it or not. At this
Yeah.
point, I'm convinced that I'm sure that I had it at some point.
How many people were asymptomatic? I'm amazed. There was a person in Canada that tested positive 7 different times after the 2-week period was over, or something like that. I don't quote me, but I believe the study I read is that after she was supposed to be over it, it's supposed to be clear, she tested again and was tested positive 7 different individual times throughout this crisis.
I know in Japan there was a woman that got tested at least twice with the same results, where she was positive the second time round and had gotten healthy and gone back to work, and then.
Having said that, the prime minister, the president, I don't know what you call him in Africa, got a grapefruit tested positive or whatever. Crazy. I don't know if you heard that conspiracy as well.
Yeah, I think we even touched base on that last time we did all this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, regardless of, the other show notes we probably need to mention is also Cutting Edge, which we haven't done that. And in this 3-parter, I don't know how long episode, we should probably mention the fact that I do run the Cutting Edge cutlery store here in Calgary, as well as that's what's giving us the chance to do all these awesome reviews. Come next week, we will have a knife to talk about, and hopefully me and Paul will both have one in our hands that at least 50% of us can give us a review, and maybe the other 2 guys can give us their feedback about what they see as far as those new knives go. Yeah, that's right, Paul. Putting you on the spot. It's going to be my review and your review.
And using that as a segue on the chance to be able to review stuff, definitely thank you to the Cutting Edge for this. But did have a question pop up from Ahsoka Edge here of, will we ever venture into reviewing custom knives? And I think that comes down to the chance to be able to review them. And if there's anyone out there that's willing to send us a very fancy custom knife for us to review, we would love to be able to, but I don't think any of us are in the boat to get them for ourselves to be able to, to be able to review.
Get those Patreons coming in. Who knows what happens.
I will also say that when it comes to all of us and reviewing custom knives, the utmost respect that all 4 of us will have for that particular knife, if it does come around that something's donated towards the channel, we can't reiterate that enough, that there'll be nothing that is abusive and in any way respectful in all the ways that we can possibly be with this knife as far as reviewing it goes. But as far as our own financial paychecks goes, we work on a factory production level, and that's what we work with in the store. So that's what we work with when it comes to the reviews. Honestly,
that's why that fixed blade that I have is so special. Is because of the custom, and it's not something I normally get to get my hands on. So.
Yeah, we would love to have the chance to be able to review some fancy custom stuff for sure, without a doubt.
But it's like watches, and there's $60 watches and $10,000 watches.
Yeah.
We are not buying $10,000 watches right now. All the reviews we potentially have is things out of our own collection or things that a retail knife shop is thankfully, generously allowed us to take and check out and maybe cut some paper, even though you sons of bitches.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course Paul doesn't. Don't worry about it.
Of course not.
I mean, some of the stuff we get to handle, even though it's technically...
We're going to have Roma.
I only do that with your knives.
There it is. Sorry, guys. Connection's starting to degrade a little bit more here.
Righto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did want to mention, though, we do get to handle a lot of knives that are very close to that line of custom, even if they're not full custom. Like Cutting Edge has been awesome enough to let us take back some gold class stuff from Benchmade for some reviews.
And some Sabenzas.
Subtle plug. Go watch
Yeah.
those videos.
Yeah. Like, hey, you want to see us review a $2,000 Benchmade? Well, now you can. Thanks to Cutting Edge.
Not just that, but I will also give a shout out because I don't know if any of them are watching throughout the week, but the Canadian Knife and Gear channel on Facebook, as well as Instagram and social media. Those boys, quite a few of them are located throughout Calgary. We've had quite a few invitations for meet and greets, even though none of us have been able to join.
Unfortunately not.
Those guys as well, awesome connection. So go check those guys out, and hopefully, we can be intertwined with the Canadian Knife and Gear sometime soon, for sure.
That's where we got the 100 Pacer to review, wasn't it?
It certainly is. Yes,
Yeah.
is through those guys. Mark, generous enough with the channel, and other guys through that channel that do have the next echelon of what we personally can't afford. Thankfully, every once in a while, those guys are generous enough to let us play with something that we might be able to throw on YouTube and give a review for sure. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
tell us we're lagging now, Joe. Happy to.
Only a tiny bit.
Ahsoka Edge got here just in time to Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto at us.
Domo.
I'm pretty sure that's directed towards Nigel more than the rest of us. So
Probably, and unfortunately you got here too late to miss my robot dancing as well.
Yeah,
I
you're gonna have
did
to
do
watch
that
the
earlier.
upload.
shameless plug to actually go back and watch the YouTube video. Maybe give it a
Indeed.
thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on how much you hated us tonight. I know Jared is unsubscribing after this, so
Well, he's already gone. He already left.
Yeah, that's why he had to leave early.
He already unsubscribed. So we're getting up to the hour 45-minute marker here.
Jeez.
all right, gentlemen, I think we should split it while we can.
Yeah, it's been a while, so this is a healthy episode.
Absolutely.
I think we can probably split this up within 2 or maybe 3 episodes, depending on what goes on. But yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely.
For sure. So we're going to round it out here for tonight, I guess. Thank you everyone who joined in. Make sure, like we mentioned earlier in the chat, to hit all those subscribe and like and share and the little dingly bell to get the notifications and all that jazz.
Ding-a-ling bell.
I think we're planning on Sundays for the live streams, at least as far as going forward for the duration.
And reposted throughout the week if you're not able to catch them. But at the same time, hopefully next week we'll have a new knife that we can all chat about.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
give us some direction in this apocalyptic times.
Yeah. So that being that, this is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I always am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
Exile.ca.
We will catch you again next time.
Bow, 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 bow.
Fantastic.
We don't need bigger knife. Yeah.